it's Steve Kyler and Steven Brotherston for HOOPSWORLD TV. All right, Steven, based in Toronto. You're around him on a regular basis, and it's time to make the decision. The Toronto Raptors, they have the option to extend DeMar DeRozan here this week, or they can wait and play the restricted free agent route and see what it's worth. Or there's a third option. They could trade him. In your mind, do the Toronto Raptors, or should the Toronto Raptors extend DeMar DeRozan?
You can't make DeMar an offer that he's not going to be insulted with right now. DeMar's going to want to get paid $9-10 million a season, and he hasn't shown yet that he's worth that kind of money. And I think if you went and offered a mid-level exception, you just make everyone upset. So he needs to show what he can do.
Is that what it's going to be about this year for DeMar, is showing that, he has made progressions, and I think there was so much expectation about DeMar because of being a high flyer and everybody hoping he could be the next Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter type transcendent athlete. But he's made those slow, steady progressions that you'd want a young player to make. Is it about making that next leap into maybe borderline all-star that's going to get him his money, or at least get it to the point where people are satisfied with who DeMar is?
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happened. Each year you see that incremental improvement. And in preseason, it looks like we're seeing it again, although it's hard to judge because we've seen really good preseasons from DeMar in the past. It doesn't always translate. But this is very much Casey's team. Casey has told DeMar what he wants him to do. Either DeMar does it or DeMar won't be back. This is a very black and white situation. Casey was trying to drive DeMar into the paint all of last season. Get away from that jump shot. Stop taking those long-range twos. Get to the foul line. Drive to the basket. Use your athleticism. Preseason, he's doing that. If he makes a season out of it, he doesn't have to be a 20-point-a-game guy to be effective on this team. What he has to do is do what Casey tells him. And that is the only way he'll be on this team next year. Casey doesn't have anyone who won't listen. They just won't survive this. Now, you mentioned maybe he's not on this team. Now, on draft night, when the name Terrence Ross was announced, I really, there's the end of DeMar DeRozan. I mean, is it really like that? I mean, do you get the sense that, look, DeMar, if you don't make the step, we've got the next guy? I mean, every team at some point kind of has to have the next guy. But do you see Terrence Ross as being maybe that eventual replacement for DeMar if he can't get on program? Terrence has the one thing DeMar doesn't have.
The three ball.
The three. He has a beautiful stroke. And he is very athletic. He can drive to the rim. It's developing. And his kid's just a kid. And he's still learning his craft. But you can see where if DeMar decides that he wants to play his own game and not do what Casey tells him, they have someone in the wings who looks like he'll develop into a pretty nice young player.
Now, the Raptors have said, and I want to give Brian Colangelo credit in this, he's been very committed to DeMar DeRozan and has been very open that, business will take care of itself. But, as this team starts to figure out who it's going to be, could you envision a scenario where the Toronto Raptors trade DeMar DeRozan this year?
I could see it happening if they could get that star small forward the team has coveted for some time. That's not an easy move to make, but DeMar possibly would be a piece in a deal like that. But I think they really are hoping DeMar has Casey's words in his head at the start of every game and does what he's told, and he becomes part of this team long term. They like DeMar a lot. There's absolutely no doubt. Casey's put a lot of effort into him, and so has Colangelo.
In your mind, DeMar DeRozan, is he a member of the Toronto Raptors next year?
Based on what I've seen in preseason, I'd say he is. So far, he's doing exactly, with very, very few exceptions, what the coach is beating into him since he got here. That'll make him a much better player. But we'll see if he does it in the regular season. Will he continue? But if he stays on track, DeMar's going to be a much more effective player this year than he was last year. He's going to take another step.
And he's got Jonas Valanciunas take a little bit of pressure off of him too, right?
Jonas is going to get a lot of the coach's attention and is going to make this team much more interesting to watch from a defensive and offensive standpoint. He brings something the team has not had. I can't actually, you're going back guys like candy for the type of skill set that he's bring.
Beginning of the franchise.
We haven't had anyone like this. Like we just haven't seen a guy like this on the team who can sit in the middle and put his arms up and Stoudemire can't shoot over. That's not been seen in Toronto.
He's Stephen Brotherston. I'm Steve Kyler. This is Hoops World TV.